This podcast is part of the Shareable Podcast Network. Learn more at shareable.fm. This is a Shareable mini episode where I ask the guest 10 important, big questions, and they have to answer them as fast as they possibly can. I call it Think Fast. Welcome back, everyone. This is Think Fast. Today, my guest, Marco Ambrosio, is going to be answering 10 of my questions as quickly as he possibly can. Marco, the thing here is that you can take as much time to answer it as you want. But the important point is that you begin answering as quickly as possible. I want your sort of like system one thinking, where just as soon as you can, you start to blurt out what's on your mind. So I'm going to ask you these 10 questions. I want you to do it as quickly as you can and take the time you need to explain it. But here we go. Number one, what book should everyone listening read next?
I would say that a great book, if you want some inspiration, is Mountains Beyond Mountains. It's by Tracy Kidder. It's the story of Paul Farmer, and really it will change your perspective and how to think about health and how health and education and jobs are all tied together, and how much impact people can have with very little amounts of money, and how you can do amazing healthcare work in the poorest of places, the most marginalized of places in the Western Hemisphere.
Love it. Okay, next, what's your favorite podcast? You can't say Shareable.
Oh, every day. I'm a nerd at heart. So I actually, every day I listen to 3 different podcasts. So I always do the Wall Street Journal Technique Briefing with Amanda Llewellyn. I always listen to Marketplace. And I shouldn't say every day, but at least probably every other day. I mean, I'm a big Guy Raz fan. I like listening to how he built it. So I like hearing entrepreneurs' stories and just learning from them.
Good podcast. All right. What negative experience in your life are you most happy happened to you?
Ooh, that's a really tough one. This is going to sound like a masochist, but I blew out my knee playing soccer in college, and that forced me to think about reinventing myself a little bit, because I was very much like the scholar athlete. I was a scholar athlete in high school and all that. And when you blow out your knee, as bad as I blew out my knee, it forces you to, first of all, the rehab is crazy intense, but it also forced me to think about, okay, I got to fill up my time with other things, and it made me more introspective, and it made me more focused on, for lack of better words, like filling my time with other kinds of experiences and learnings. I miss playing soccer and basketball and all those kind of things. I kick the ball around a little bit, but I don't really partake as much as I used to. And if I do, definitely not with the competitive spirit that I used to have.
Yeah, I'm sure an injury like that kind of tones you down a little bit. You're like, I don't want to go through that again. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't want to do that again. I'm good. I don't have to go skiing. I'm good.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll do the skiing for us. All right. What is a lesson that you wished you learned earlier in life?
A lesson that I wish I learned earlier in life. It's kind of, I gotta think about it. I don't really have it on top of mind. I would say that a good lesson would be, it took me a while to really think about basically pausing before you respond. And I really mean that, because I come much more from fast twitch, improv style background.
Mm-hmm.
And getting stillness and learning to use the pause, that took me to my mid-20s. The power of applause is it's a real thing, and I wish I would have learned that in my younger years.
Good one. All right, there's an answer that you're going to be discouraged to give in this, but so I'll tell you the question, then I'm going to discourage you from giving the answer, but it doesn't mean you can't give it. I'm just going to discourage you. What is the most important skill of the future? And I'm discouraging you from saying empathy, just because it's been said a lot.
The most, to me, it's love of learning. If you're not a person who likes learning or thinks about life as a journey, it's gonna be difficult. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of innovation technology that's coming into the world. I I run our live person AI native program, which is open to all our people in the company to help them shift their mindset about how is AI and machine learning really changing industries, companies, professional and personal lives. And it is one of the examples that I give is, if you think about drones, drones may displace certain delivery jobs, for instance. But there's a whole world of jobs that will come with building drones, repairing drones, building out like the air traffic control system for drones. Those are all jobs of the future that are requiring new skills. And I think, as we've already seen in the last 10, 15 years, the world of which one person stays at one company for 10 years or 15 years or 25 years, or stays in one role. I mean, I myself have had 3 different careers before the age of 34. And so I think you have to you have to look at life as a learning journey. And that is a skill that I think is really important.
Dig it. Love it. Well, that's going to lead right into the next question about what industry or career path do you think has the most promising future or potential? You can pick one.
Data science. I mean, data science, machine learning engineer is by far and away the number one answer, bar none, in my opinion.
Okay.
If you are in college or you are good at math, move the career in that direction.
Good stuff. Okay. What is one thing that every single person who is listening to this episode should go and do today? It has to be something that they can either complete today or begin today.
So I'm a big proponent of introspection and actually intentionality. And so I would say, if you're in nice enough weather, I would say go outside for a walk and really think about like what's your goal for the year. I usually put like one professional goal, one personal goal, and then I make it a BHAG, a big hairy audacious goal. If you don't want to do that, think about like what are the core skills that you have right now that you feel like you really own that you have, and then do a year from now. What are the skills that you want to have a year from now? Just to heighten your awareness about the things that you intentionally want to learn or expose yourself to over the next 12 months.
Man, if you could see inside of my to-do list in Notion. All right. If you could have any one superpower, what would it be?
I would 100%, I would want to be able to wield the sorcerer's, in Harry Potter, like the sorcerer's, I almost said broom, but the
wand.
Forgetting the wand, the one that's the most powerful of all. Because if I can wield that, I can pretty much do anything.
So this is if a genie gave you 3 wishes, I would ask for unlimited wishes.
Yes, but it's a different angle because I'm going with the Harry Potter style.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. If there was a drug that you could take that gave you an 80% chance of developing a superpower and a 20% chance of developing an incurable terminal disease, would you take it? 80-20?
No, I'm actually like I'm pretty content in life. I'm content with who I am.
All right. Final question. Have you seen Avengers Endgame?
Yes.
Okay, so you're familiar with Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet and the snap and such. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you the Infinity Gauntlet. You can choose to put it on or not put it on. If you snap, you know that anything that you imagine can happen. But unlike Thanos and the Hulk, and more like Tony Stark, if you snap, it will cost you your life. But anything could happen after that snap. 1, do you put the gauntlet on? And 2, if you do put it on and snap, what happens after you snap?
That's a great question. I'd have to like really discern what's the answer. I mean, I'd be okay with the snapping or putting on and snapping, but I'd have to like really think, like, what am I becoming a martyr for? And how is it not like how is it not like a caveat that all of a sudden, like with the genie that you mentioned,
I'm going to
sometimes
pull the monkey's paw off the table. I'm going to pull the monkey's paw off the table so you don't have to worry if the unintended consequence of it. I'm looking purely aspirational. Because even the snap bringing people back had all these.
That's how you got the next. That's how you got the Falcon and the next
exactly.
piece.
So I'm taking the monkey's paw off of the table. So
I think.
Would you snap?
I think. Oh, it's actually. You know what? Oh man, I would say this. 2.5 years ago, I would have said yes. and I've been totally okay with it. But now I'm engaged. I'm getting married in like 3 weeks. So I have to think about it in terms of the collective unit. So I have to, it changes your whole mind once you have vows involved.
Fascinating. So today's decision is
Today's decision actually should be no.
fascinating. I really would have pegged you as a yes.
I have to think about it. You wanted knee-jerk reactions.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Look, knee-jerk reaction. It's cool if you just let Thanos snap and wipe out half of humanity. It's fine. This has been Think Fast with Jeff Gibbard and Marco Ambrosio. Thank you for listening. This has been another episode of Shareable. Wait, don't leave. If you've never listened to my fancy outro, do it just once for me, please. Okay, if you enjoy Shareable and you find it valuable, there's a few ways that you can support the show. One, you can share it on social media, which I strongly encourage. I mean, it's literally the name of the show, Shareable. Two, you can review it on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're an Overcast user, as many of my listeners are, make sure to click that star button on the episodes that you like. The third way that you could support the show is by blogging about it or discussing it on your own podcast, or even by making a YouTube video where you talk about one of the episodes. And then the final way that you can support the show is by supporting it directly on Patreon. You can find the link in the show notes. Now, before I let you go, I want to tell you about one other thing. You see, Shareable is just one of many projects that I'm working on at any given time. I've got another podcast called Rogue. I do a live streaming show every week called The Heroic Council. I've got a blog where I release a blog post twice a week. And if you're looking to keep up with all sorts of different content that can help you grow and become a superhero in life, I want you to check out jeffgibbard.me. That's where I list all of my current projects and projects that are coming up in the future, including my forthcoming book, The Lovable Leader. It would mean a lot to me if you could go and check out some of the other things I've worked on, because I put just as much of my heart into those projects as I do into Shareable. Thank you so much for being a listener. Thank you for being a supporter, and I hope to see you here on the next episode of Shareable.